As the beloved, we are four things, according to Henry Nouwen. We are taken, blessed, broken, and given. And we've probably experienced all of those things at some point in our lives. As I was reflecting on this book and on my life, I was reminded of the number of people in my life that have given, that have loved and shared their lives with me to remind me of the belovedness of God. And one of those people, or one of those couples, was a couple back home in Newfoundland where I pastored in a small church. When I arrived at the church, I had probably only just met maybe the members of the board at this point, and I received a text or a phone call, and it was this lady from the church who invited me over for dinner. And over the course of the next year or two, I would visit them frequently. It got to the place where I would actually text them and invite myself into their home, which is not something I normally feel comfortable to do. But they loved me unconditionally. They shared their time with me. They shared their food with me. And if you know me, I love that too. And a couple years after I met them, they ended up leaving that community. But they gave me a bit of a parting gift. And it was this mug, actually. And when I would go to their house, oftentimes I would have a cup of coffee and they would put it in this mug for me. So this mug always reminded me of them and of their love and of the connection that we shared. They gave so much of their time and effort for me. That's one of the sections of what it means to be the beloved. But another section talks about being blessed. And for me, as I reflect on those things, I remember how blessed I am. Henry Nouwen, in his book, says, my second suggestion for claiming your belovedness is the cultivation of presence. He says, by presence, I mean attentiveness to the blessings that come to you day after day, year after year. And this mug to me is a representation of that blessedness, that friendship, that relationship where I felt so unconditionally loved. After blessedness, Henry Nouwen talks about being broken. And just this past week, my mug kind of took a fatal blow, and it actually itself became broken. And as I think about it, I'm also reminded of the brokenness of my life in that season when I knew this couple. I remember I went to their house one day, it was in the evening, and in that particular moment, I felt very broken. I felt very insecure in my ministry, in my leadership. I felt very unsure, and I went there, and I'm pretty sure I even cried. I was just at a low point. And as I chatted with them, they comforted me, they encouraged me in my ministry, and they loved me unconditionally. And as I sat there kind of before them broken, they kind of acted like Jesus in some ways and began to take the broken pieces of my life and kind of began to put them back together. And so when we started this sermon series, I bought something called, forgive the pronunciation, kintsugi, which the whole idea is that you take these couple of items to repair what is broken, and when it's done, the brokenness is actually supposed to show something even more beautiful than it was in the first place. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes and try to see if I can figure out how to use this, and let's see if we can actually put something together that looks better than it was before. So I tried my best, but it turns out I'm a better pastor than I am artist or mug fixer-upper. But for a professional who knows how to do this, this would be absolutely beautiful. It wouldn't have the marks and dents and epoxy everywhere and the mess that I made, but it would actually be more beautiful than it was in the beginning. And it would have a story. We all have a story, the story of our journey and how God loves us through all of the situations and things that we face. So I was loved through my brokenness and the story that I shared with this family in this small church in Newfoundland. And I've been loved through many situations, many valleys, many insecurities, fears, and all sorts of issues, just like you have been loved by God through all the situations that you have faced. And it's through that love in the midst of the brokenness that helps us to realize that we can now be given in love to other people. Now, when I talk to people who have faced similar valleys to me, I can be the person that helps them through that valley. I can be the person that loves them unconditionally through what they're going through. So what I want to leave you with at the end of this sermon series is, don't be afraid to be given. Don't be afraid to use your love, your care, and your story to bless someone else, to walk with someone else, and to be given to someone else.